What is going on, guys? My name is Phamily Shucks and welcome back to another episode of Clash of Clans. This is going to be part 2 of my grumpy fam, and hopefully it's going to come off in a more calmer and mediated manner which I initially intended, but of course that went off into a tangent. So hopefully I contain it here and hopefully clarify some things that I miscommunicated in my last video, or just clarify some things that I saw in the comments. And mind you that I read every single comment because every single opinion is valuable, especially when it comes to this clarification video. So to start things off, I just want to throw this out there, if it hasn't been known already, that rant video was not meant to come off as me coming from a holier-than-thou standpoint. You know, I'm not better than anyone, and I will not be better than anyone, because that's just something ignorant and arrogant, and, you know, that's not me. That's not who I am. I live humbly, or hopefully humbly, which is something that I've been instilled in. But anyways, so this video was not meant to be a put down or flame anyone, even though it did come off as very negative. The way I portrayed it, I looked at it and I said, yes, this is very negative, but at the same time, it really gets my point across without sugarcoating it. And no doubt I have a great ton of respect for the channels that I mentioned or did not mention. Channels like White, Cole, Molt, you know, all the sacrifices that every single YouTuber makes in order to consistently upload, if not upload more videos per day, just to sustain the entertainment of their subscribers is immense. Cole dropped out of college in order to pursue his channel. White is looking to pursue a film major in college when he gets there. And Molt survived a near-death experience, quit his job in order to fulfill and pursue his YouTube channel, and consistently goes to upload videos on the daily despite a ton of haters. And of course, there are many channels in this community. This is a vast community, so every channel has made their sacrifices, and for that I applaud them and apologize to whoever I offended in that rant video. But now going on to the main course of this episode, I was really surprised at how some people responded to the rant. They seemed really surprised that I wasn't going to take shots towards their favorite YouTubers or not put it in a negative way or sound bitter or sound whiny or bitchy or anything like that. But without having to explain this as much in depth as I want to, I'm just going to plain out say it, but I'm not trying to be a dick, but it's a rant video for a reason. I'm not going to be nice to them in a rant video because White, I think he put this down in his comments and I was going to acknowledge this anyways, but when he did his rant videos, he's not being nice to Supercell. He could be if he wanted to, but then again, it's a rant video and you're allowing yourself to release the frustration you have for a certain topic. So I'm just going to end it there. And moving on to the next topic, a lot of people seem to ask me, this video was a waste of time, or why do I care? And I didn't view this as a waste of time, and I do care a lot because it's a community that I was born and raised into. It's something that I've been so deeply involved into that every single thing that happens to it, I want it to get better, or I want to bring it up or bring awareness to. And that was the purpose of that rant video. It wasn't meant to bring hate or an angry mob of people towards certain YouTubers, even though it did seem that way to some. But to me, it was meant to provoke awareness and change and hopeful change. But for the most part, from what I'm seeing, even though that rant video went out, a lot of YouTubers will not change the way how they portray their video, even though they got called out. Some people did them. I'll acknowledge Hurley and J-Rod. They said it on Twitter. They expressed the same opinions that I have. Hurley said, oh, because of the things I said in my rant video, I'm going to delete some things because it's the right thing to do. And those are the changes that I want to see. And I'm not trying to do this in a very authoritative way. I'm not trying to be the dictator of how the Clash community runs. And for the most part, I think some people seem to forget that I can't just go to a YouTuber and tell them how to run their channel or what they're doing does not please me. Because it's not all about me. It's about the community. Basically, all of YouTube, not even just the Clash YouTube community, is all about customer satisfaction. It's about pleasing the viewers, and there is some leeway for YouTubers to have the freedom to do whatever they want and upload whatever material they want. But whenever that happens, if you're such a limited channel, your viewers will just shit on it. They'll say, I don't want this, I want the other content. And for the most part, a lot of people or a lot of YouTubers in this community, because they have been so established in Clash of Clans and have associated their names so strongly with Clash of Clans, whenever they try to upload something different, their viewers just shit on it. And the common response I see from YouTubers is, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Or you can fuck off because this is my channel and I can do whatever I want. And is that really the way you want to carry on your channel? If you want to keep on uploading something different, but you just keep telling your viewers to fuck off? But I digress because I think I strayed way too off this topic, what I was trying to talk about. But I'll reverse a little bit. Some people seem to tell me that the best way to deal with this matter was to privately message them, not do it publicly like that rant video. But my response to that, even though that is a very less offensive way, what are the odds that they're actually going to take my opinion? I do have some relation to some of these YouTubers, but what are the odds that they'll listen to me compared to the hundreds of thousands of subscribers that they have and viewers who constantly say, oh, I like this, or oh, I like that. So if they continue to get that positive feedback, what are the odds that they'll take my advice? And at the same time, I don't want to seem, and can't be, because that's not how YouTube works, I can't be controlling of how they run their channel. Every person has their freedom to run it their own way, and I respect that decision. But at the same time, I'm just bringing awareness. And this is just like how White made that Let's Rant video about the hero update to Supercell. What are the chances of him privately messaging Supercell saying, hey, your hero update sounds like it sucks ass, so can you remove this? And Supercell responded to White with a big fuck you because the hero update is still here in this game. But the whole point of that rant video was to bring awareness to the issue of the hero updates. And comparable to this situation right now, even though I am still bringing awareness to it, some YouTubers will continue to do, as one of my commenters put it, these shitty and immoral tactics, which I agree on. They'll continue to do these things as long as they get their end results. Just like bodybuilders, they'll do anything they want, anything they can, in order to get these end results. And some YouTubers like White, J-Rod, and Hurley, they admitted to this. They admitted the shit that they've done, and I like that because we can clearly see if you're doing it, and there's no point in denying that you did it because we can just look back to, 2 videos ago or so and just see that you did it. So I like seeing people who admit it, but for the most part, I think J-Rod and Hurley are the only ones who are looking to change. But White, even though he did admit to doing these quote-unquote shitty and immoral tactics, he still is going to continue to do these things despite that rant video. He's not going to change. And that's what I'm talking about. This YouTube community will not change as long as they get their end results. They'll keep doing it as long as they get their subscribers all the way high, despite even if they don't care about views or likes or anything like that. They'll continue to keep doing it as long as they get subscriber growth, which for the most part, it seems like now that's all YouTubers care about. They'll do anything that they want as long as it makes a random viewer view that video and click it and then subscribe, because every single one of their videos that they upload is a masterpiece of advertisement. That's what it is. And I just want to clarify in this video and in my rant video that I didn't mean to generalize the whole YouTube community, because only a certain couple of people do it, if not a certain number of YouTubers do it. So only a couple, not everyone. And another thing that I want to point out is that a common response that I got, especially in White's video and also from another commenter or a few other commenters, is that they do what they have to do. Now, that doesn't really seem a very justifiable answer, does it really? Because it just seems like a scapegoat of an answer in order for you to get empathy or sympathy from your viewers or subscribers and continue to do your shitty tactics and avoid the whole purpose of this argument in general. And I'm going to put this in a more comparable manner in situations in the real world. So in the baseball community, in the MLB, there are way more competitive players than there once was back in like 1990 something or 1960 something, wherever. But the community in baseball is so rapidly changing, and there's such more competitive players and such more better players. Does that mean you can take steroids in order to hit multiple home runs? Or in recent news, a lot of people have become more skilled and have built a greater endurance in marathon running. But does that mean Rita Jeptu can blood dope in order to get ahead of the competition because of how fast it's changing and the amount of competition that is rising? So my question to that is that your definition of adaptability? Is that the way how you define that because this community is so quickly changing and how competitive it has become that you have to do something in order to get the upper hand, but it's not in the most honest way? And at the same time, even though it might seem biased coming from me because it might seem like I'm talking about me, even though I'm not, it might seem biased because you're stealing the spotlight away from smaller channels who deserve recognition and deserve the credentials for the quality of material that they put out, which in this case is even better than the YouTubers who have 100K plus subscribers. And I'll give a few shout outs: Ruthless Barbarian, Beaker's Lab, Hulk, Jake from One Hive. Every single one of those YouTubers that I mentioned probably are in my featured channels bar, but I'm not quite sure. But whatever I mentioned, they'll be in my featured channels bar. And those are the YouTubers that I enjoy watching because they're informative and they're entertaining, like I pointed out in my latest rant video. So now moving on, I made the mistake of being an ageist. If you guys don't know what that is, it means that you're being basically racist about age. So I didn't mean that Coulson's humor only appeals to 12-year-olds because that's honestly not true. At that time, I associated age with the kind of humor that you take, even though humor is something that depends on maturity and age has no factor. So apologies to any 12-year-olds I offended and or anyone younger than 12 years old, because I sure as hell know a lot of younger people than 12 years old who are mature as fuck. And shoutouts to Tove, even though you might be like 13 or 14 right now, I don't know. But anyways, shoutouts to you if you still watch my videos. And moving on to the next topic, I didn't give much credit to BJ and Nick because honestly, I didn't mean to say that I don't care about them because I don't watch their shit. I meant it in a way that I didn't really watch their stuff, so I didn't really include their stuff. But at the same time, I'm kind of aware of the things that they do, so in a way, I kind of generalize the YouTubers, but at the same time, they kind of still do the stuff that I talked about in that rant. So, moving on, I'm going to talk about Galadon and Daddy, and I'll give credit to both Galadon and Daddy because they're the most humble people in this community about whatever subscriber count they are at. But I think a lot of people seem to think that I shit on Galadon a lot, even though I personally thought the main purpose of me including Galadon in that was because I was giving the opinion that he is overrated. But at the same time, he still does use misleading titles sometimes, so I guess in a way he is included in that rant video. And a lot of people seem to be putting words in my mouth that I hate Galadon, like he's the most vicious thing that ever happened to this community. But that's honestly not true. I respect Galadon, I respect all YouTubers in general, and I understand that he gives a lot of tips and tricks which appeals to unexperienced players, which is the reason why his channel grows. So I understand that, but in my opinion, I just find him overrated. And if you want more clarification, I highly, highly, highly recommend going back to that rant video and scrolling through until you find my conversation with Devoted Talent, and he has like the purple thumbnail with like a DT. But I think my long ass response to him really kind of nailed it on the head with what I was trying to feel and what I was trying to convey with my response to including Galadon in this. And I'll admit to it, but I gave way too much credit to Tyrael than I meant to. He was the first one who came up in my mind, even though there's plenty other people just like him who actually gives somewhat better tips like Beaker and Ruthless Barbarian. So I didn't mean to highly praise Tyrael, he was just the first one who popped up into my mind. And I could talk about Daddy's response that he gave me in the comments, but I think that would just elongate this video, so I don't really want that to happen, so I'll probably save that for another video, a shorter one, but I don't know if you guys want to see that or not. So I'm going to bring this towards the home stretch. So the bottom line is, no way am I better than anyone, and no way will or can be better than anyone, because if I said that, I'd be an ignorant and hypocritical asshole, because that whole rant would be a waste, and that would be the only time that it would be a waste. And I'll be honest, I'll admit to it, I probably did some of the things that I ranted about in the video in the past, because everyone makes and will make mistakes, but without realization, there will be no change. So the purpose of that rant was to bring awareness, not to bash and flame people, even though it was very negative. Because to me, that rant didn't really seem like I was hating on specific YouTubers themselves, rather it was an expression or reaction to what they do, what the YouTubers do, not the YouTubers itself, in order to get big. And that is a fine difference that a lot of people have to understand, because I have watched many of these channels grow, like I said. I've watched Daddy since he was in Bombay Cat, White since 1K, Cole when he had 100 subs on his original channel, and Molt since Phamily. And I respect them as people, but I don't respect the things that they do and the tactics that they do in order to grow their channel. So I'm not a hater of anyone, nor ever will be. It might come off that way, but all I am is a concerned clasher who is looking to restore this YouTube community back to what it once was. And I want to call out any of the YouTubers I named in that rant video, or any of those mainstream YouTubers, and I want you to make a response video on it, because I, as well as probably everyone else, is curious on what you have to say about this. And commenting it in my comment section is one thing, but that's like, what, 1,000 people, 3,000 people at most? And when you do that response video, if you ever do that, I honestly don't want to see bullshit in your response. I want to see someone who is honest, no sugarcoating, and if they do whatever I said in that rant video, admits to it, and doesn't seek for empathy or sympathy from any of their subscribers. Like, I don't want to hear, oh, I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from, or I have to do what I have to do. I want you to say straight up, admit to it if you do it, and why. Because we have eyes and ears, so we can tell when you're bullshitting. And admitting it is one thing, but what you do to change your mistakes is another. Because we all know that actions speak louder than words. And I'll give my reason to why some YouTubers are starting to change to that view whorish way. And it's all because of how Coulson emerged. And this isn't hating on Cole, but once other YouTubers saw the success of Coulson ever since he switched to a quote-unquote comedy channel, and they saw the things that he did, those YouTubers started to adapt his things and his tactics, capitalize titles, and for some, over-editing their thumbnails. And it's not because of how competitive this community has become, it's because those YouTubers are trying to catch up to Cole. And having a set amount like 1 million like Chief Pat is one thing, but having that exponential growth in such a short period of time is what YouTubers crave now. So even though it sounds like I'm blaming the whole downfall of this YouTube community on Cole, I'm not. But rather, it is something that I have observed ever since I came into this community 2 to 3 years ago. And to close this rant video, I am grateful to all my subs, and I apologize to whoever I offended. And I am supportive to the channels that I mentioned and to whoever I didn't mention for their future and where it takes them. And to end this, I will say this quote for all the channels out there, quoted by my boy George Plitt: "Success, many will love you for it, the majority will hate you." Thank you guys all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.